Hey everybody, welcome to Essential Yoga. I am so excited for this particular class. This is our December session, and this one is all about compassion and cultivating kindness. And it's so common and almost cliche that at this time of year, our hearts tend to be a little bit more open. We tend to reach out to people that maybe we don't talk to except for this time of year. And also we tend to be more generous with our spirit as far as small acts of kindness, maybe supporting small business owners like myself, um, just going that little extra step. And I love that about this time of year. It kind of puts this little bit of sparkle in the season. And so I'm excited to share this one with you. These are some amazing essential oils. And so we're going to go through those oils, the oils that you're going to need for the class. And as always, if you need samples of these, just reach out to me. I have a postage meter at my house. I just whip out a label, pop it in the mail. It is not a big deal. Totally not a big deal. So be sure to reach out to me. So here's what you're going to need for the class. You're going to need Holiday Joy Blend. And this is a Christmas in the bottle blend. It's cinnamony and orange and clove and trees, and it's a must. Like, it will bring the holiday spirit into your space. So this is a must. It's called Holiday Joy. So you're going to need that. And then you're going to need peppermint, and peppermint's the oil that's going to be offered for you to take internally. So making sure that you have a glass, a clear glass for cold water, or if you're a hot water girl like me or guy, having a glass that you can pop in a drop of peppermint, and that is amazing. So making sure that you have quality peppermint. Remember, there's only one brand that I put in internally in my body. So don't go to the store and just buy random peppermint. If you need some and you want to take some internally, just reach out to me. Then you're going to need frankincense. And we talk a lot about frankincense because it is that good of an essential oil. This is a must-have in your home for mood, for sleep, for skin, for health. Just it's like the oil to have. So you're going to need frankincense, and it's a pricey one, but totally worth it. And then you're going to need thyme essential oil. And thyme is an herb that we find in cooking, but this is a special oil emotionally. And we'll talk about it when we get there. You're going to need Siberian fir. Siberian fir is like living in the forest. This one is probably my favorite tree oil. It's the one I use the most. It's the one I crave the most. I love Siberian fir at night. At the end of the day, in the evening, when I put a fire in my fireplace and I hear the crackling of the pine needles, I'm diffusing this. And I also love to sleep with Siberian fir. And this one is incredibly healing from the sense of finding a perspective. So we'll talk a little bit more about Siberian fir as we get there. And then wild orange is what we finish with. And wild orange is the oil of abundance. It is the oil that I think is probably the most popular oil for many, many people because of its versatility. It's calming, it's uplifting, it's beautiful, it's happy, it's just amazing and super affordable. I love to take a couple drops of wild orange and pop it into my smoothie every morning. Sometimes I put it in with strawberries or raspberries, just a little punch. I put it in my cranberry sauce this year. It's just lovely. If you are a dairy eater and you're looking at watching your calories, one of my best tricks when I was eating dairy is I would buy Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt, and I would add a couple drops of wild orange, and I had an instant amazing yogurt with zero extra sugar or calories. I miss it a little bit, but that's what you need. So to practice today, I would love for you to have a pillow. So making sure that you have either a bed pillow or a sofa pillow, but something that you're going to be able to lay over and also maybe move underneath your legs towards the end of the practice. If you also have a block, that would be great too. If you can grab your block. If you don't have it, it's no big deal. If you don't have access to a pillow, it is no big deal. So don't worry about that. But we are going to start on our backs with the soles of our feet together and just finding that nice open shape. So you don't need the pillow or the block right now. have your oils nearby, have your pillow nearby. And as I always do when I teach, I'm going to turn my camera off. And so go ahead and take a minute or two to get yourself settled in. Um, I'd love for you to have your Holiday Joy as your very first oil. If you have a diffuser and you want to pause this and come back after you've filled your diffuser with Holiday Joy, that's great. If you don't have a diffuser in the space that you're practicing, that's no big deal. You can use the bottle. So we're going to go ahead and begin on our backs. I'm going to turn the camera off so that you can just enjoy my voice and the aromas. Perfect. So the essential oils and the blends that I have chosen for this particular month's workshop are really designed to brighten our spirits, and yet in this really profound way that aroma has by working with the brain of memories, our limbic brain, and our connection to our emotions. This one brings a deep connection to some of the sacred aspects of the holiday season, however you celebrate that. And as we move through the class, listen to the benefits your body, mind, and spirit will receive as we start to cultivate this idea of kindness, not just on the yoga mat and not just off the yoga mat, that there's this beautiful exchange of kindness, that we can be kind to others. But sometimes we forget about ourselves and we put too much on our plates, which isn't kind. We certainly wouldn't expect someone else to do that for us, and yet we have no problem piling on the commitments, the to-do list, the lack of self-care. And so we're gonna move into this practice with the idea that we're gonna fully embody the idea of union, which is yoga, bringing two parts into one. So we're going to unite the idea of kindness and compassion outside of us, that giving spirit that we tend to have this time of year. And we're going to flip it around and we're going to give that same compassion and kindness to ourselves. So go ahead and stay on your backs, grab your Holiday Joy. This particular blend is only available during the holiday season, and it contains wild orange, nutmeg, pine, cassia, which is that friend of cinnamon, cinnamon bark, and vanilla. All of these warm scents to remind us of the holiday season. This really powerful combination of oils whose therapeutic properties have been studied historically and used historically have been used often to avoid some of the seasonal threats that are around us and emotional darkness. So the oils in this blend not only protect us physically, but they also can lift our spirits. So we want to diffuse this one to help minimize some of the effects of those airborne pathogens when we're gathering indoors, when we have been outdoors and we want to come home and sort of protect ourselves by boosting our immune system. Plus, this smells so beautiful. It smells just so beautiful. Emotionally, the word joy perfectly describes the therapeutic effect of these very uplifting oils. So go ahead and unscrew the lid and just put it under your nose and smell. You'll see that wild orange, cinnamon, and cassia and pine are all known for uplifting our spirits. And especially on maybe a cold or dreary winter day, this one can evoke such a feeling of joy. And I wanted to start out this workshop by putting the holiday spirit into our sensory system. Let's go ahead and take a few breaths, maybe even swipe the top of the bottle and just apply it just slightly under your nose. And that gives you that constant input into the olfactory bulb, which goes right into the center of the brain that houses our emotions and our memories. And maybe it transports you into a time and a place of your past where holidays and gathering brings a sense of joy, even though this year may look a little different. Once you feel like you have enough Holiday Joy essential oil blend under your nose or breathing it in, go ahead and set it aside and put your left hand on top of your heart and your right hand on top of your belly. We start to find this ruminating, sort of marinating rhythm between what's happening physically, that rise and the fall, with the stillness that becomes when we allow ourselves to become quiet. So take a moment or two to bring in that feeling of joy, of fullness. Maybe every breath starts to get a little bit deeper. As we do that, we're reminded of our capacity to pull in prana, which is life force, into our very essence of our being. And when we do that, we create this volume of abundance within our body. This reminder of how blessed we are, how full we can be. Let your hands rise up and fall and just find your own unique rhythm. And with your left hand, I want you to feel the pressure of your left hand push just a little bit more into your heart. And when we do that, and we flatten our palm and we apply a little bit of pressure onto our heart, I want you to see if you can tap into the rhythm of your physical heart, the beating of being alive. And then spread your fingers of your left hand just a little bit more. Connect fingertips into your heart space, the palms still touching that beautiful organ of us that keeps us alive. The fingertips sort of embrace that heart space that we refer to so much in the yoga world, that which is light. And as if you are embracing that beautiful place within you, go ahead and take your right palm, place it on top of the left. So you are gently holding on to that beautiful light. That is you. Compassion, kindness. Sometimes we are so easy to criticize. Maybe our slight perceived flaws or our mistakes, if you will. I want you to take all of that and push it aside and nurture. Compassionately loving and nurturing your beautiful spirit. And as we find that place within each of us, we can then give it to others. We are part of this union. That's bringing two pieces into one. That is yoga. Take a few more breaths here, just enjoying the aroma, the feeling of pushing your pressure against your heart, reminding yourself that you are worthy of kindness and compassion. And we're going to begin to slip the hands apart, keep your feet just like they are, and open your arms up as wide as you can, like a T shape. And let your backs of your hands just float down onto the surface of either the carpeting that's next to your mat, maybe it's a wood floor, a tile floor, and just splay out wide. And notice as you do that, the skin of your chest begins to stretch towards the armpits, begins to stretch. And we feel this expansion through our heart. And keep your eyes closed and just stay here with this very open, can be very vulnerable position. It is one that sometimes we feel even subconsciously that why should I take up so much space in the world? I'll shrink back. I'll let somebody else steal the show. I'll just play low. I want you to take up space today. Allow the heart to shine. Pulling in that compassion that we give so easily to others. Flip it towards yourself. That kindness. Beautiful. Now go ahead and close your knees. Keep your arms out just like they are. But now the soles of the feet rest on your mat. Walk your feet just a little bit wider, maybe to the edge of your yoga mat, maybe even off your yoga mat. Keep your arms wide now and take your knees over to the left and just feel that opening through the right side body. Take your right hand and reach it above your head. If that's uncomfortable on your right shoulder, keep it to a T. Listen to your body. Compassion and kindness here. Perfect. Arms will slide back to the T shape if the right arm has lifted. Knees come back to center. And we're going to drop over to the right here. Feel that spaciousness. Take your left arm above your head if that feels right in your shoulder. So beautiful. Now bring the left hand back to a T if it's risen. Bring the knees back up to center. And then scoot your heels close to your cheeks. Grab your pillow. Lift up your bum, slide the pillow underneath your hips, right on the low back. So you can use a block here, but it's low on the back. It's on that triangular shape known as our sacrum. So it's not on the spine. Just resting the hips. Arms still or wide. Now they've touched the heels, but go ahead and bring them back out wide and just feel that spaciousness. So now our heart is elevated. The hips are higher. We have this benefit of a bridge pose, which has so many beautiful benefits for the physical body as well as the mental body, but we have no effort here. That's where compassion comes in. We don't need to always push our practice. Let's nurture our body, bring in that kindness, and let a tool like a pillow or a block do the work. Take a few breaths here. So perfect. Lift up your hips. Slide the pillow aside. Come all the way onto your back and now hug your knees in. Wrap your arms around your knees. Give a tight squeeze. Feels so good to love our body. Maybe you roll a little bit into a circle. Maybe you rock side to side. Just start to feel a little bit of movement coming into the body. Beautiful. And now tip over to the right side. Stay in this little ball shape and use your left hand and push yourself up to a seat. Sit in an easy cross-legged position. Here's where we're going to move into peppermint. And peppermint is wonderful essential oil to have year-round, but it's especially effective during this time where we might be eating things that we don't normally eat or more of the good stuff. And so physically, this one is wonderful at helping our stomachs stay healthy. It's also great for respiratory function and opens up the airways. So by taking it internally, this one can really kind of calm down some of the unsettledness in our belly. It's just a wonderful way to bring the season of peppermint right into our body. I love to make some hot cocoa in the evening and add a drop of peppermint. If we applied this to our neck, this beautiful oil, it would be tingly. So it's great for tension headaches, great for just fatigue where we feel that afternoon slump. It can be very invigorating. But let's talk emotionally about this one. Go ahead, and if you're not going to choose to take it internally, just breathe it in. Just hold it up to your bottle, up to your nose, never close to your eyes because it is strong. This one is the oil of the buoyant heart. This one lifts our spirits, and the scent and the aroma of peppermint is so easily identified as candy canes, as children, as joy. And so this one allows our heart to feel buoyant and light. And this one helps us to not get weighed down by all of the tasks, the chores, the to-dos, the burdens, the sadness. And instead, it allows us to see the bigger picture, increasing our vision and tolerance for things that maybe we're not too fond of right now. I picked this one just to help awaken ourselves to the idea of buoyancy in the heart for self and for others. This is great to put under your tongue. It's just a beautiful oil to have. Go ahead and set that oil aside. Cup your hands over your kneecaps. I want you to straighten your arms, and as if you're pulling your spine backwards. Tuck your pelvis under and kind of roll onto that triangular bone, and your chin's going to tuck. And this is looking down into your heart. And you might close your eyes, but notice here how the shoulder blades separate and open. This is symbolic for sending a little bit of love, a little bit of compassion behind you to where you have been. And saying to yourself, I honor each step, each part of my journey with compassion and kindness that has brought me here. And now we're going to begin to reverse this shape. And so start to rock the pelvis forward, flare your tailbone behind you, and this forces your heart to come forward. Your nose is going to naturally reach up towards the ceiling as the elbows bend in towards the ribs. And so this symbolically says, I'm going to go into the future from the space of buoyancy, of love, of compassion and kindness. So let's link these two together. Take a breath here with bent elbows, heart lifted. And then when you exhale, straighten your arms, round your spine, tuck your chin, and pay honor to where you have been. Then inhale, lift your heart, buoyancy for what's to come. And exhale, honoring where you've been. Find a few motions front to back, listening to the rhythm of your breath, pulling in that beautiful idea of a buoyant heart for yourself. For yourself. Remember, we cannot give from that empty vessel. So this practice is about you compassionately loving with kindness where you've been, where you're headed, who you are, what you have to give the world. Take about 2 more. Perfect. Now go ahead and slide your hands off of your knees and roll over to all fours. However you like to make this transition into a tabletop. Some people like to swing their legs around. It's fine. Just make your way into the tabletop shape. And then tuck your toes. And we're going to come to the upside down V shape, so commonly referred to in our beautiful yoga world as downward facing dog. And I want you to play with down dog today. So take your feet wide, maybe even off of the mat. And then as you do that, press into the heels of your hands just a little bit and shift the tailbone way up high to almost where the wall meets the ceiling. Like that's the energy. It's pointing up there. And then as you do that, notice your heart leans towards your legs. Maybe the knees are bent, but this is a beautiful variation of downward facing dog that represents an openness, a wideness, a vastness. Rather than keeping everything tight and within, we're going to be big and bold today, big and broad and spacious, just like we want to have spaciousness in our heart. Now bend your left knee a whole bunch, and this forces the right leg to straighten, and the heel is going to press down into the mat and feel that. It's so beautiful. Now bend your right knee and press your left heel way down. See if you can find that spaciousness. Notice how your heart's starting to move. Go ahead and switch again, and maybe the eyes look beyond the right armpit. And then switch. Now the chin turns beyond the left armpit. Take a few of these side to side, walking our wide down dog, looking for space here. Beautiful. Now, find a down dog that feels good, stillness. And then the eyes are going to shift all the way to the top of the mat. Keep your feet wide and just begin to creep your feet all the way up to the top of your mat, but stay in the fold. Feeling the body drape over those nice bent legs. And then just let your arms hang, and I want you to sway side to side. Find a little rhythm here. As you sway the arms, the knees start to bend one at a time. Similar to that sensation in down dog, Now we're in this forward fold that's sort of marching out our fold, bending and straightening, bending and straightening. There's movement here. There's some fluidity to our practice. And then go ahead and find stillness. Just drape over. Let the fingertips even slightly curl in. There's no effort here. And as slow as you can, start to rebuild your spine up to stand. We haven't been fully upright. So just feel bone by bone. And then I would love for you to grab your frankincense. You could grab it on the way up or just bend down, grab it. And then come back. Go ahead and take the bottle and just drop a couple drops. I like to hold that little tiny sample dram that I send my samples in upside down with one hand. And with the other hand, I tap the bottom of the bottle and it squirts a few drops into my hand. So frankincense, go ahead and rub your hands together vigorously. Warm up that oil. And then cup around your nose, close your eyes and breathe. Powerful and precious this oil is. This historically a holy oil that has been used for anointing and sacred ceremonies forever in many, many cultures. This one is such an important oil to use year round just to promote an overall well-being. I love to put this one on my face at night before I go to sleep. I really feel like it is wonderful for my skin. This one promotes feelings of peacefulness and relaxation and wholeness and satisfaction and just this overall as if there's a warmth around you, a shroud of goodness. Emotionally, this oil is known as the oil of truth. And we use it when we want to create sort of this healthy attachment to the energy of the Father, of the fatherly love of the divine, if you will, but this very masculine, nurturing, protective energy. That's what frankincense brings to us. It reminds us that we are loved and that we are protected and that our gentle, loving spirit that is us is so, so worthy. This one is ideal for anyone who's looking for sort of an awakening, a spiritual connection, maybe even an evolution. And I picked this one today to start out the movement part of our practice to help encourage within the movement that we're going to partake in, that's going to be big and bold and vast, that there is an opportunity for tranquility and insight and true compassion. True compassion. Take a few more breaths, just soaking in that aroma of frankincense. Any extra residue of the frankincense, just allow your hands to swipe your throat and move down into your heart space. The oil of truth. Beautiful. Now let's tee out our arms again. You can keep your eyes closed, keep your feet wide-ish, right? They're still towards the edges of your mat and toes are forward. I want you to splay your arms out just like we did when we were on the mat, really extending. Now, flip your palms so that palms are to the back of your space and you can feel that rotation there from the shoulder. And then just go ahead and turn the thumbs up, palms go to the front of your space. Spread your fingers wide here. Thumbs down, palms to the back. Feel that rotation. Thumbs up. Thumbs down. Keep reaching. Find a lot of space here. Now, next time your thumbs are to the back, thumbs are down, palms are to the back, keep them there. Go ahead and lower your hands behind you and interlace your fingers into a basket. I like to say we weave those beautiful fingers together, cross the thumbs, and now drag your knuckles down. Notice what happens to the shoulders. They naturally sink down into that shoulder girdle. And as you do that, think about where your heart is now. It is forcing forward. It's a beautiful chest expander. With the legs wide, we're going to play just a little bit with deepening this. As you begin to inhale next, allow your nose to drift up to the ceiling. Feel a slight back bend. When you get to the top of your inhale, stay right there. Lean back slightly and breathe out. Empty the breath. Beautiful. Now, re-straighten your spine. You'll inhale. Keep your hands in that basket. Bend your knees softly and begin to hinge forward into a fold with the hands in a basket. So your hands might prefer to stay at your low back space. They might also want to reach up towards the ceiling. Once you find your version of this forward fold that's wide with the hand clasp, shift the weight forward slightly into your toes and begin to straighten your legs as best you can. So we have spaciousness here behind the legs, over the shoulders, maybe. Should feel delightful. And now bend your knees soft and slowly begin to rebuild your spine. Knuckles stay connected in that basket. Drag them down your backside, forcing the heart forward. Stay right there and tuck your chin. So we have this opposing, almost traction sensation, creating space in the spine as the knuckles drag down and the chin folds into the heart. We have this space along the top of our shoulders, our cervical spine, and into our thoracic spine, our upper back, that gets spaciousness. Do you feel that? Keep your hands where they're at and just slightly drop your right ear to your right shoulder. And then try left to left. Come back to your chest and then unslip the hands and bring your head to neutral. Take a giant step back with your left foot all the way back. We're going to turn towards the long edge of your mat into this very wide stance. Okay, and this way our feet are connected to the sticky surface of our mat, not going to slip on a floor or carpeting. We're going to come into a very wide, beautiful star shape. So the arms again go to a T. Thumbs will be up so your palms are forward. Toes and heels are in one long line. And then once you get into this as wide as your legs can be space, see if you can roll the weight of your body slightly to the outside edge, that knife sharp edge of your feet, so that the instep is elevated off the mat ever so slightly. And what happens is that tells the inner thighs to activate. Beautiful. Now keep your arms strong here. And I want you to close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to think about that winter night sky, clear and crisp, not a cloud to be found, but it's dark. There is a darkness in winter, in this time where we're heading into the darkest day. And I want you to notice as if you were standing in your backyard and you could see the vastness of the sky, how dark it is, and yet how bright the stars are. I want you to connect to that metaphor. And I want you to think about you as a beautiful light within a sometimes dark world. That you, just as you are, is so beautiful and so bright and so worthy and so powerful. You are worth the compassion and kindness that you give others. Now, arms are still wide, legs are still wide. Find your left hand on your heart. Put your right hand on top of your left and push. That beautiful light, that heart space, that is you. Now open up big, bigger than you were, a star. Feel that spaciousness. Perfect. Turn your palms down towards the floor, but keep your arms out and wide, shoulder height. Version of star here. Take a breath in. Find your hip crease and fold from there. Try to keep your arms wide like you're a swan diving down. And your hands now begin to find the mat. And we shift our weight forward again into the toes. So we were in a shorter version of this at the top of our mat just moments ago. Now we're really wide and spacious. Feel the backs of the legs as we begin to straighten the legs as best we can. And if you need support, if the floor is just too far away, bring a chair nearby. Set some blocks underneath your hands and bring the floor up to you. But we want to make sure that we have some sort of connection to the floor or a chair or some blocks. Even a stack of books will work. Bring your left hand into the center of your stance. Make sure that the fingertips and maybe the palm can connect to the floor, the blocks, or the books. Turn your heart to the right and now begin to elevate the right arm to the sky. So we have that same T shape of the arms, but we're in this twist. And as we do this, we're massaging our internal organs, we're massaging our spine, but we're giving space to our legs. See if you can feel that. We're going to stay here for a few breaths. Take a breath in. Begin to bring the right hand down. Allow it to find the blocks, the books, the chair, the floor. Connect to it. There's no rush here. Remember, this is all about length, space. Left arm starts to rise as the heart turns to the left. And we create that same T shape with our arms and feel what's happening in the backs of the legs. It's just magnificent. Take a breath. Lower your left. Beautiful. Bend your knees. And then slowly begin to roll up. So we're going to be still facing that long edge of our mat. Keep your legs just like they are, so they're wide. And I want you to lift up your toes and just pivot on your heels to the front of your mat. So the legs are just as wide as they were, but now we're facing the front of the mat. And for some of us, this can be a challenge of our balance. So go ahead and separate your legs a little bit so that your feet are on two separate railroad tracks, or two separate lanes of traffic. We're going to find that spaciousness through pyramid pose. So go ahead and make sure that your belly and your heart are facing the front edge of your mat. And then bring your hands to your hip crease. I like to have my thumbs to the back, my index finger into that little space where my upper thigh attaches to my hip or my pelvis. And now before we fold or do anything else, I want you to bring your elbows to the back. What just happened to your heart? Place of goodness and light and compassion and kindness is going outward, right? And that's our tendency. It's very common for us to be compassionate to others and kind to others, and yet we have this tendency to not do the same as frequently to ourselves. We're much more critical. So go ahead and bring the elbows behind, showing the world that you are compassionate, you are kind. And now we're going to take that energy and we're going to turn it inward. Take a breath in. Begin to hinge from that hip crease, round the spine, tuck your chin, and look inward, and taking that same energy of compassion and kindness into your own heart. If you find that keeping your hands on your hip crease makes the balance too challenging, let your hands slip down. Find your leg, find the floor, but both legs remain spacious and straight-ish. Once you get into this pyramid pose, pull your right hip back just a little bit, back just a little bit. Yeah. And notice how that created some space here. And as we look inward to our heart, be reminded of all that you are, and that the compassion and kindness that you give to others can so easily be reflected back to you. That during this time, allow yourself to feel what you feel, and then be tender with you. Be compassionate with whatever feelings you have. Learn to say no to the unnecessary commitments that don't feed your soul. Take care of you, because that bright star in the dark sky, that's you. We got to keep shining, keep being who we are. We have to take care of ourselves. Take one more breath here. Slowly begin to come up. Find your hip crease again if your hands have moved. Pick up your toes. Pivot to the long edge of your mat. Stop there for a moment. Pick up your toes. Pivot to the back of your mat. The left leg's in front, right's behind. 2 separate lanes of traffic. Push thumbs into the back, index finger into the front of that pelvis, holding on to that beautiful structure. Begin to bring your elbows behind. Feel the heart shine forward, sending a message of kindness and compassion. And now we're going to take that message and turn it inward. Take a breath. From the hip crease, begin to round forward, pulling the heart in, letting the chin tuck a little bit deeper even. And maybe the hands begin to travel down. Maybe they like staying on the hips. It's totally your call. But the legs stay straightish. And we are looking inward lovingly at that place within each of us that is light and good. Being kind and compassionate. Loving the aspects of ourselves that make us unique and powerful and worthy. Start to rebuild the spine. Hands come back to the hip crease. Lift up your toes. Turn to the long edge of your mat. Splay your arms out wide like a T. A beautiful star. It is a powerful reminder of just how bright you are. Close your eyes and envision your heart space, this radiant light of goodness. You are here on this beautiful earth for a reason. But in order to fully participate, we have to take care of ourselves too. We have to love and nurture who we are. Bring your hands down, lift up your toes, turn them to the front, and now step your left to meet your right. Close your eyes and breathe. Now slowly just begin to lower the body. Come into a seat. I'd like for you to grab the Siberian fir essential oil. Go ahead and unscrew the cap. Just start to put it underneath your nose and just breathe the aroma of this beautiful oil. This beautiful oil brings about a sense of forgiveness, an honest perspective, wisdom, teaching us to live in the present, to be optimistic and adaptable, peaceful. Siberian fir encourages us to have this really honest yet gentle approach to assessing our life and our life choices. We've all made mistakes. We've all maybe not given enough in certain areas. To be compassionate to ourselves and kind to ourselves can bring about so much healing, which in turn helps us to find that meaning and purpose in our life, to show up, to be the best we can be. And as we progress through this human life, sometimes there's times when we need to realign ourselves with that place within each of us that is so good. And Siberian fir is a wonderful reminder of perspective, comfort, truth, wisdom. Go ahead and drip a few drops of this beautiful, powerful, wonderful tree oil. Rub your palms together, warm up this oil, and then just swipe it along the back of your neck, along your shoulders, the shoulders in which sometimes we bear so much, we carry so much. And often what we carry, we have put upon our shoulders ourselves. Bring the soles of your feet together. Let your hands find your inner ankles, your insteps. Draw your elbows in, so maybe they graze your rib cage. Take a big breath in, breathing in that beautiful tree. And now round over. We're going to go inward into our heart, into that place where reconciliation and healing can take place. This beautiful tree, one of my absolute favorites, really encourages us to take an honest and very gentle approach to assessing our influence, our legacy, our choices. And as we look inward into this reflection, sometimes we can find moments of regret and moments we cherish. And Siberian fir teaches without these winds of opposition, we would never really have gained the wisdom and strength that we now have. So with compassionate love, we look inward to that heart space. We feel comforted. We offer ourselves forgiveness in a compassionate and kind way with this perspective of grace, presence, and optimism. And feel gravity begin to allow the head to get even further towards those feet as we pull energy into that heart space even more. This nurturing, comforting, seed-like position, this little shell brings so much comfort to our hearts. And now go ahead and begin as slow as you can to come up to a seat. Keep your feet just like they are and grab your thyme. Beautiful thyme, this herbaceous, yummy, wonderful, warm, heating essential oil. It's a beautiful oil for our respiratory system physically. It's great to diffuse indoors in the wintertime just to ward off any airborne pathogens or seasonal threats. It's a powerful, most of our herb essential oils within the herb category are going to be great choices for when there is a high amount of seasonal threats or we even fall ill. Herbs are going to be a great tool for us. This is a great one that I combine with lemon quite often for my cleaning of my countertops. And I even make a natural wood polish that is both cleansing to the surface, but also the aroma is wonderful. Go ahead and drop a few drops of this beautiful warm oil into your hands. It doesn't take much. It's strong and potent. Take your hands and rub them along your feet, on the instep, top of your feet, on the bottoms of your feet. Push into the arch. This oil emotionally is commonly referred to as the oil of releasing and forgiving. Thyme is considered one of the most powerful oils to cleanse our emotional body. This is a perfect oil for the end of this year. This one helps us on a very deep level release buried emotions that have been stacked month by month through this crazy year that we have just layered into our physical body. This one offers us a chance to have a release from those emotions and encourages us to forgive and to have compassion. This one helps us to transform hate and anger into love and forgiveness. Choosing to apply it onto our feet is a wonderful place to deliver sometimes potent smelling oils. It's far away from our nose, but it can be delivered through our bloodstream in a very powerful way. I chose it in this workshop with compassion and kindness to help us let go and cleanse ourselves of any unwanted emotions, either directed at ourselves or at another person or group of people, but to move into a space of compassion and love, to clean out those unwanted emotions. So beautiful. Now go ahead and take your hands and just, if you're wearing long pants, just to let your hands sort of swipe the fabric of your pants just to get any excess off. It's not going to damage your clothing at all. There is no oil in an essential oil. It's just the volatile compounds that have been extracted from the plant, from either the stem or the leaves, or the fruit or the root. And then grab your wild orange. Go ahead and lay on your back. Keeping the wild orange either in the palm of your hand or nearby, just start to squeeze some love into your body by bending your knees and wrapping your arms around your legs as best you can. Giving appreciation for your physical form and the spaciousness in which we created today. Just a few more postures to get to until we close out. But I want you to first just smell the wild orange. We're going to come back to it in a moment, but I want you to just get a beautiful aroma of abundance, of joy, of sweet wild orange. Go ahead and let your feet come down to the mat. The knees will be bent. We've been here a few times when we used that supported bridge with the pillow. Don't need your pillow just yet. Go ahead and extend the right leg up towards the ceiling. Keep your left knee bent. And then make that interwoven basket behind your right leg, like just wrapping around your hamstring. And try to keep your right leg as straight as you can. And then extend the heel up and the toes drift down towards your face. So we have this flexed position of our right foot. And you can feel the space going from your Achilles tendon through your calf, through behind the knee, into the hamstrings, and maybe even to the glutes. And we're not going to pull and push and yank and be uncompassionate. and harmful to our body, we're just going to gently guide the right leg towards the trunk. Just guide it, whisper it along, say, come along, never pulling, being rough with our body, but instead using our breath and just this gentle nudging, if you will, leading your right leg a little straighter, a little closer to the heart. Close your beautiful eyes and see if you can find space behind the right leg. Nice. Gently lower the right foot, unslip the basket. Left leg goes up, basket finds the left hamstring. The heel goes up, the toes come down, and without any negative judgment of one side or the other, it simply is. Take your breath right there and gently encourage the left leg to become straighter and a little closer to the heart. And gentle is key here. Encouragement, not yanking. Gentle, loving nudge this way. And slip your hands off the left leg. You might find that supported bridge with the pillow felt really nice. You might find that that beginning posture we came to with the soles of the feet touching back on the mat, no pillow with knees bent, was nice. You might just know for your body that being in a full and complete place of open legs, open arms is perfect for you. But before you settle in, grab your wild orange. Sprinkle some drops into your hands. There'll be remnants of that powerful time. It's okay. They blend beautifully. Remember, we can always be layering oils. In fact, as we layer them, we actually create an even more powerful benefit to our body and mind. Once you get the oil in your hands, vigorously rub them together to create that heat. Cup your nose and breathe in the sweetness of abundance of wild orange. Any extra that you have, you can swipe up your forearms underneath your nose, down your throat, into your heart, wherever your body naturally wants this sweet, beautiful wild orange, and then settle in. Wild orange is such a powerful cleanser again. It's purifying, it's wonderful with its antioxidant properties to help us with some more of those seasonal environmental threats that become really high, especially right now. It's uplifting, provides a relief from the stress and the tension of our life. This beautiful oil emotionally helps us to recognize that the things that hold us back from an abundant life are typically fear and lack. So there's no need to feel those feelings consistently and chronically. We can choose to focus on joy, on creativity, on playfulness, on the amazing aspects of who we are. As we loosen up that grip, we find that everything is given to us in perfection. I chose wild orange to close the class to encourage us to slip into a space where we have found compassion to be directed inward. And now we have made space for joy for love, for kindness. As we enter into this season, it is so important to remember that what we give others, we must first give ourselves. And Wild Orange is a perfect reminder of joy and play. And as you slip into your final posture, I hope that you've noticed the support that today's oils, as we move into compassion for ourselves as well as others, that the blends and the oils are just so perfect to bring a healthier physical body. But they're also really important for helping us to get rid of the stuff, those doubts that creep into the way of our own compassion, and that they can really help awaken us to the love of who we are and that we are a gift. And sometimes offering that gift to others is so powerful when done from a clear heart. We explored that beautiful holiday joy to lighten the mood, and we had peppermint to buoyantly lift our heart. And that's beautiful, holy frankincense, that sacred oil. Siberian fir, nurturing, comforting, releasing, and the forgiving it can offer us. A beautiful time, a powerful punch of similar emotions, forgiveness, release. And then we finished up our beautiful session with that oil of joy and abundance. Stay in this beautiful, delightful, aroma-filled, sacred space as long as you'd like. It's such an honor to share and to have you in my studio, in my heart, in my beautiful space, and sharing what I love and what I believe in. And I'm so honored that you trust me and that you're vulnerable with me and that you choose to say yes. And as you choose to say yes, I say yes. And together we are creating powerful worlds of compassion and kindness as we each begin to live in our own truth. And that, my friends, is powerful. Enjoy the rest of your practice. If you have any questions, reach out to me, and I hope to see you soon. Be tender with yourself.